Hi, welcome to my fourth video in my introductory course in programming with C++ and Microsoft Visual Studio. Today we're going to be doing some math, and I like doing the math. This is pretty cool. Let's just start out with talking about the libraries. We don't really need any of the libraries except for the IO stream, because all we're doing is displaying to from the console out. So let's just get right into it. Okay. We're going to be using integer numbers and floating numbers. We're going to be doing multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And there's two main things we're going to be talking about here. Just the basic integer and floating point math, and also increment and decrement operators. And that's basically what we're going to be doing here, explaining how that stuff works. A quick point, you'll notice if you look under the top two integers here, that this integer here has C-O-N-S-T in front of it. That's something new we haven't encountered, and that's called a constant. And what that means is that it cannot be altered by anything. Once you declare a constant number, it has to be initialized and declared what it is in one line, and that number cannot be altered at all. So, give you a quick example, okay? Well, actually, I'll give a quick example when we get down to the increment and decrement operators. Just do it that way. Okay, so so we have a type int with the identifier num1 and it's assigned to 5, and num2 is assigned 3, num3 is assigned 7, and number 4 is assigned 2. Okay, earlier we were talking about integers, and I mentioned that integer math is a little funny, and it's a little different than floating point math. Floating point math is the same as you and I know. So like, for example, 1 divided by 2 is 0.5, right? Makes sense? Well, in integer math, it's not quite the same. 1 divided by 2 will be 0, because it doesn't completely fill 100%. And to give a quick example, I wrote a little display here to kind of do some math. Okay, so the first integer math here is integer variable named result1, and it's calculated that num1 is divided by num2, and that math puts the answer into result1, right? Very simple. And same with result2, except for we're encountering a new little character here, and this is normally a percentage sign, but in C++ it's called a modular sign, or motto. And what it does is it takes the remainder of any math, a division. So, for example, if you have, you'll see 5 divided by 3. My wife just hurt herself. It's okay. You okay, baby? I'm sorry. Anyway, 5 divided by 3 would normally be 1.6. Oh wait, I'm sorry, 1.66. It's late. I'm tired. So, but that means there's a remainder of 2. So 3 goes into 5 one times with 2 remainder. Does that make sense? And modular takes the remainder. That's what it does. You'll see when I actually run the program here. When we build it and compile it and run it. Okay. And then floating point math, just to give a quick example of normal math. I mean, you already know. Well, this is going to use num3, because you have to use all floating point numbers for floating point math. That's why the numbers are different, right? So num3 is 7 divided by 2. And you're going to get 3.5. And with int math, it wouldn't be 3.5; it would just be 3. Okay. And with modular, it would be 1, because there's 1 left over. And I'll show you that. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh, and also one more thing too. There's an increment and decrement operator, and you see this num ++. That takes whatever num1 is, which is 5, and adds 1 to it. And if we do num1 minus, it takes num1 and minuses 1 from it. And we'll use that a lot in loops and stuff later on. Okay. But also wanted to show that right before we do the little compilation here, I want to show you what the constant does. You notice the number 1 can be altered. You look on top up here, it can be altered. It doesn't say anything about it. Doesn't give you an error. Watch what happens when you do num2 ++. Ooh, it gives a little underscore there, and it says error expression must be a modifiable initial value. I value is initial value. Okay. Well, that's because it's a constant. It cannot be altered at all. So you can't do ++, you can't do minus, you can't alter it at all. You can use it in math, but you can't change it at all. Okay, and it's really important later on, especially if you're having important values like set sizes. All sizes for arrays and stuff should be constant, and we'll explain that later. Constant is very useful, and it's used a lot in programming. Okay, so that's that. And this will display the result of num1 just to kind of let you know. And actually, what we'll do here too, we'll just to show also before and after. We'll do this and del. I actually do that a lot in programming. I'll have something here and then something after. You know, that way it makes sure whatever, because usually you have a lot more complicated formulas. Make sure whatever complicated formula is coming out right, and then I'll remove it once they notice it's doing it right. Anyway, that's a skill we'll learn later. Okay, and then obviously the familiar pause that we see in every video. Cool. And now we're also going to talk about the easier way to do some math. Normally, what you could do for something is you'd say, okay, well, I want number 1, right, and you want it to be equal num1 plus num2, right? You could do that, right? But that's kind of a lot. It's kind of cumbersome. It's a little bit. It's a bit much. You don't need that much code, right? We're trying to save space. It's the key to good programming is saving space without losing content, right? So we can do it this way instead. Instead of doing that way, we do num plus equals num2, and it takes num2 and adds it to num1. Okay, make sense? And then we'll display it to show you that. And same with the minus and the multiplication and the division. Okay, and we'll also display it all every single time just to show you the math. Okay? And also, keep in mind that it does it each time. So after it adds here, it's going to take this result and use that in the subtraction. Okay? So just keep that in mind. It doesn't keep reusing this number. This number gets changed every time you do any math. Okay? It will always. That's why if you don't want the number to be changed, you need to put a constant in there. Okay? Cool. Let's compile this and see what it does. So Control F5. Give it a second. Boom. Okay. So let's skip this over a little bit so you can see the results. Okay, so result 1 is, remember, 1 divided by number 2, and 5 divided by 3 is 1, because 3 can only go into 5 one time, right? Cool. And result 2 is number 1. Wait a second here, something's not right. Oh yeah, we made oops. Number 1 modded by number 2, so same thing. 5 divided by 3, it leaves a remainder of 2, so you see the 2's there. Okay, that's how you can use that a lot with later math to pull out things, especially with like dates and stuff. When you're creating programs that use dates and stuff, the mod thing is very, very useful. Okay, and then for normal math, as you can see, normally 7 divided by 2 is of course 3.5. But if you did that with an int, it wouldn't show 3.5; it would just show 3. Okay, and then results. Then we show that num1 is indeed 5. You see the 5 there. Okay. They do num1 plus plus, and then we show that it is 6. It is indeed 6. Okay. Cool. And then I just messed that up. Okay. So now we're going to go to the next part. Okay. So I had a pause. Let's get past the pause. Okay. And we see that num1, which is 6 because we added it there, right? Okay. Remember, we added 1 up here, so num1 is, you get the plus plus, see? Plus plus. So it's actually 6 now, as you see. And you add number 2, which is a 3. 6 plus 3 is obviously 9, so you see the 9 there. Okay, displayed it. And then once again, you take number 1 minus number 2, and that 9 minus 3 is obviously 6. See the 6 right here? And then you take num1 times num2, which is 6 times 3 is 18, right? And then you divide it, and 18 divided by 3 is 6. So there's that. And that's some quick math and how kind of math works within programming, and the difference between integers and floating point, and also constants. So we'll use that obviously in our next video. And thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it. And have a good night.